All right, hello everybody out there in YouTube land. Coming with you with another video on a watch that I purchased, and there's not too many Invictas. I understand that their biggest movement is the Seiko NH35A. I have one. And I want to bring that back up because I've got a couple of videos on the one I do have, and it was considered a grand diver. Actually from 01, year 2001, and month was 03 on it. And it's got the NH35 movement in it, 35A. Mine does not have the yellow rotor. It was before the yellow rotor, so mine does not have that. I did have to regulate it and everything. So, to get it, be spot on like I'd want it, not have to fool with it. If I'm wearing it on a daily basis for a week or two, I don't want to have to be worried about changing the time, it running 2-3 minutes fast a week. So anyway, with all that being said, which it did, it actually ran fast, but I got it all right. I purchased let's get under magnifier here so you can probably see it better. The 40 millimeter Swiss made with the Sellita SW200 in it. Now, you cannot see this on the movement, and the movement on this one, from advertised, it did not even have Swiss made on the dial. It did not show that, and it showed, you could barely, only one picture. Let's see. Yeah, and you could barely make out a rotor on another side I looked at. But on this one, it actually on the rotor, let's turn it over. I'll let you see the rotor on this one. I can get it up here. Let's get that rotor to move down. Sorry, bear with me here. Should have done this when I had all my cameras set up, but on this rotor's not like I've seen on the others. This one says Invicta Reserve on the weight rotor for the automatic winder. It says Invicta Reserve on it, and it's not a cutout with Invicta in the rotor. So, and on top of that too, it's got that gilded looking movement. I'm assuming these were, there was something with Invicta, they had them do it different because most of these movements are in a stainless. So, and you can see the back, it's the 9937 OB, Swiss movement, stainless steel casing, the 316L. With all that being said, I just opened this. I just opened this an hour and a half ago. I set up a camera in my tripod because of the fact, for insurance reasons, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have an issue with it out of the box, out of the paper, something wrong. That would be something that I could show Invicta about. And, that's all I'm going to say about that because I did that and I'm not going to run that video up. But now back to the watch. I was looking for this. I have seen a few other videos. There's not that many videos on these, but I have seen a few others. And one gentleman, if you see this, they say that they only came in black. No, they did not. They actually did do a blue and a green in this. If you can find one of them, you're one of the lucky ones to find one in green or in blue. Because I could not, and I'm not much on the black. But when I seen this, I'm one of them. I get something that's different. I like to have something that's different or been done a little differently than out of the norm. I don't do the big old funky watches Invicta makes. I don't do that. Like I said, but when I seen this one, is the homage to the Rolex Submariners, and everybody's got one. I know there's some guys out here, there's a couple of them. Look, I don't knock them. Seiko's got one to the Submariner. So, let's just leave it at that. Seiko's got one, so you can't knock Invicta for having one too. And then you've got, I've got Orient's. Orient's got one. There's other movements. Tudor, Come on, there's a lot of people that has one. So, just a different brand. But when it comes to this one, okay, let's get back to the watch here. Out of the box, was good. Everything was fine. I didn't find any issues with it. Only other than the same thing a lot of people has complained about still today, the Cyclops. If you notice, this one's gone. Well, I just spent the last 30 minutes. I took this one off, cleaned the dial up, got the glue off. As you can see, it was on there, cockeyed. Cockeyed Cyclops for the magnifier for the date. So, like I did with my other, I took this one off. I did not like that. They could have quality control or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's a design that they want to keep with. I've not actually asked them, but I'm going to reach out tomorrow and I'm going to ask them about that, because if not, if they say, hey, we'll put you one on there straight, this would look better. Personally, I would rather this watch have the Cyclops on it. My other one was a Grand Diver. I wanted to make that clear. That was a Grand Diver back then. The new ones today have a diver on the dial, diver here on the bracelet. To me, that's just a little overkill, and it says Grand Diver on the sides, and then, of course, your Invicta. But when it comes to this watch here, I had to get one because I'm about ready to get a Orient. I think they call it a C-Star. And it's a blue dial with blue bezel. The only other things I could say with this one, let's move away from here. Let's just go over it a little bit. The bracelet on your arm here. You can see the bracelet. When it's on your arm, the end of the bracelet right here kindly sticks out a little more than what the actual Invicta bracelets do. Yeah, I kindly don't like that. I'll show you in a minute. Other than that, it does have solid end links. That's a plus. I do like the clasp. I had to adjust it. It was actually the same adjustments out of this one as it was my other one. Let's see. The brushing and polishing on it's really nice. Me, personally, this is fine. Polished in the center and brushed on both. On the ends, it could... Either way, I think it would look nice. The brushing on this one, as you can see, is the same on both sides. I know my phone picks up really good on this. But I don't know, it doesn't do it really the justice, because it actually looks better in person than what this is showing, but it still looks good. I've done adjusted the bracelet, like I said, and I took the Cyclops off. That was my first thing. That Cyclops, when I noticed that, I don't understand that. You would think they'd get that right on this, especially being a Swiss-made. There's a fine line about Swiss-made or Swiss parts and put together by another company. That they buy all the parts, put it together themselves. This one was actually Swiss-made. It even says it on the dial, but it did not show that when I looked it up and bought it. It was actually at theinvicta.com, their store. And they did not have another in any other color. They said, no. They said, we do have them, but we don't have any. She said, let me check all the stores. And I'd rather have this in blue. I'm not really much on the black dials with the everything. Now, the bezel does line up very well. It's spot on. The bezel numbers line up very well with the hour markers in the watch. Like I said, the Cyclops was just plumb off. And if you look over here, though, to this side, the bezel lines up with the 15-minute at the date clock at the 15-minute marker. But it doesn't line up with the crown quite. And I would have thought they, like I said, it ain't no Rolex, so don't expect that. But still, for what it is, that's fine. Another thing that I think would really set the watch off is getting the ceramic bezel. I have found a ceramic bezel to put on here. They say it will stick up just a hair more, probably like a millimeter or two on the side here. See if you can get at the insert on this one. If I take that insert out, the ceramic insert will stick up about probably a millimeter to 2 millimeters. You know what? That's fine. That is fine. The bezel action of this watch is really good and smooth. Let me see if I can let you hear it. You know, let me get you out of frame here. Let you hear it. Nice and smooth. And lines up very well. So as you said, I mean, it's not, there's no hard spots, no catches. It lines up really good. And lines up nice and straight. A ceramic bezel, in my opinion, would set this watch off. I would have thought they, you know, you could, if they just update and put sapphire crystal. Sapphire crystal would have been really even nicer for this watch. For what I see, some of that other stuff they sell, you know, this watch here would do, I mean, a sapphire crystal with the, which I might upgrade that. The bezel, I'm definitely, most likely going to upgrade. I've been looking at one. I got the measurements here earlier too, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the strings on that and change that bezel insert and put a ceramic one in there. Now, as far as the watch running right now, let me show you out of the box. Bear with me a minute here. I will put it on the time grapher here so you can see. And right out of the bat, I was impressed, and I didn't even wind it, but it's wound now. So right out of the box, I was very impressed with that Sellita movement. Now I will be letting this sit and run like 10 minutes in every position. I'm gonna adjust positions, crown down. 12 o'clock hour down, like if it was, you know, you was wearing it or just sitting with your arm up, you know, just sitting on at a table. That's pretty good. I mean, this might be the first watch I don't have to adjust, to be honest, to regulate and get right. I mean, that's pretty good. Now, it's been running now for about an hour and a half, 2 hours now. So, you know, like I said, let it run a little bit. It's, you know, I'll watch it, wear it a couple of weeks. And I do have a video, my Orient, Ray Raven. I did have to adjust it. I adjusted it Saturday night. I got a little short 5-minute video on that. Tuned it in, fine-dialed it in a little better. It's doing good. So it's been keeping good time since then. But this right here, I mean, I don't know what I can say about that. That's just really excellent out of the box. So I'll keep my eyes on it. Here, we'll turn it. Bear with me, and I'll turn it to crown down, and we'll see what it does there. All right. This is crown down, so you can see. Now, if it continues to run a little slow like that with crown down, I will adjust it up maybe a second or two faster in, you know, in the position. I will, like I said, I'll mark every position. So I got to let it run a little bit. We got to run it a week or two, and then come back and we'll put it on the grapher and we'll check it, and we'll see where to go from there. So All right, that's crown down. Let's stop it. Let's turn it. If it was lying on your nightstand, so let's do it that way. The 12 o'clock position in that area. Let's see. All right. Let's start that again. We'll see how it runs there. Just say laying on your nightstand, you took it off and laid it down, so we'll see where it runs there. Yeah, I mean, they say, if I'm not mistaken, it's 7 plus or minus 15, 7 to plus or minus 15 a day with this SW200, if I stand correct. And there's 3 different grades of these. I'm assuming that's just for the regulation part of it. Whichever one if you buy a watch that has one in it. So with that being said, I will most likely regulate this, but we will see. I will get this thing running where it's like perfect. I like them to run. I don't want to be fooling with them. I want it to run perfect. So there's crown back up. So seems to do exceptional in the crown up position. Like I said, I might have to. That time graph where you're picking up a lot of my voice here, and here, let's start it over. And we just have to let it run. So with that being said, we'll let this thing run. Take it off the grapher here. We're gonna let it run. And we'll see where we're at in a week or two. And if I see need to do some adjustments, I will. Now, I thought about putting that Cyclops back on, because to be honest, you gotta. It would look good with it, but without it, it's just fine too. To be honest, it was lopsided. I can't handle that. But I think this actual watch with that black dial would look better with the Cyclops back on it. But it needs to be aligned properly. So just to let you know, it just needs to be on there properly. And it was not. So there you go. I just wanted to give you my little opinion about it out of the box. There's not too many videos. There is videos on these, but not too many. And I know a lot of people, they've left their Cyclopses on. They don't take them off or whatever. I have no idea. But as you can see here, like I said, at the 15-minute marker, where it don't quite line up, being on the bezel and line up with the crown, but it does line up perfectly with the markers inside the dial. So that is fine. I'm okay with that. That's not no big deal. The bezel lines up like it should with the markers in the 12 o'clock. Nice, the Mercedes hands. I've actually even looked at how the hands are placed on the dial, or really they're nice and straight like they should. They're not misaligned down over the center pinion there. So yeah, we'll just see, and we'll go from there, and I'll let you know. I might even do a little video on it when I regulate it and add, tag it on this and add to it. But that's the only reason I got this, is because of that Sellita movement. I wasn't going to buy. I've never had a thought about buying another Invicta until I seen one of these, and I didn't know they've had these for a few years now, 5 or 6 years. They've been selling these, but from like I said, from what I understand, all you can find out here is the black dial. But they did make a green, and they did make it in a blue dial, the 40 millimeter, just like this one is. To let you know, I did find that much out. They did make them. You're lucky if you find one. So And if I can find a blue, I'll probably sell this one and get me a blue dial because I really like the blue dial. I'm red-headed and fair-skinned, so it kind of matches me pretty good. But anyway, just want to do my little video on this. The Invicta 9937 OB Sellita movement and the Pro Diver. Thanks for looking.